Good. All right, I'm just going to go in order. Aaliyah, you're up first.
No.
Name popped up first. It is what it is. All right, so we're going to do 15.2. You get to choose your problem.
Okay, what's the easiest one?
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna do 5.
That's behind you, right, Aaliyah? Whatever, it doesn't matter. Here we go. So 7 and 12. So X, 7X, 12. All right, I'm not saying anything. You do it. Go.
No, because I'm still a little lost on it. Don't make me do
But
it.
here's the thing. If I showed you yesterday, and I know I worked with you yesterday, and then you did some work, you should be able to do it. And you should have notes, not in your head.
Okay, you have, wait, I don't know. I think you have to do, A, B, and C. There, A, B, and C. Okay, so A is 1, B is 7, and C is 12. I think you gotta put it in the absolute value, right? Okay. Okay, so put A in the first one. No, put the number 1 in the.
You don't want to see this. You don't want to see this, okay?
And then you put 12 inside the other one.
I am an eyeball.
Which is 12.
I know, I already saw I played it before. Okay.
I don't remember what to do after that. Oh, the GCF, the greatest common factor?
No, his list.
Oh, okay, 1 and 12. 2 and 6. 3 and 4. And that's it.
Correct.
I don't remember. Do I put the B is positive and C is negative thing? I mean, C negative, B positive.
So C is positive.
B is positive.
Therefore. Okay.
And then you add them, so 1 plus 12 is 13, 8, 7.
Okay.
And you choose the last one.
Because it's equal to the B. Good. Now what?
You put it in the equation.
Do you mean parentheses?
So you do x plus 3 and x plus 4.
Good job, Aaliyah. You did all of it by yourself. I didn't even do anything except for the list. The list is the only thing that you got to make sure you understand. I think you do. You just got a little spooked on it, but you did everything on your own. You got all the way to the answer. That's a great job.
So I'm done.
You are done. You are off the hook. So, Roke, are you there? Carlos?
Yeah.
Good. Get it. Alexander is there, but he can't talk. Microphone breaker. Here we go. Carlos, pick one.
Yeah. The sixth one.
All right, so we got 9 and 18.
Okay.
All right.
So A equals 1, B equals 9x. Well, just 9, just 9.
Good.
And C equals 18.
Good.
18. Then we combine A multiplied by C, which will be 1 multiplied by 18. And then we do the list. So in the left side 1 and the other one 18. Then 2, 9.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3, 6.
Mm-hmm.
Now, since they're both positive, we combine both of them. You know, just add them.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one should be 19,
Mm-hmm.
11,
Mm-hmm.
and 9.
Good.
Then, since the last one is B, we do that one, and I mean, the equation factor form should be x plus 3 is a parenthesis, and in the other parenthesis, x plus 6.
Great job, Carlos.
Thank you.
Great job. Let's see who else is here. Y'all are moving along. I feel accomplished. Y'all are doing this thing. Deandra,
What up, Moonshine?
here we go. Pick one.
Oh, okay. I get the pick one. Oh. Let's do number 9.
Got it. -9 and 20. Good. Here we go.
Okay. So basically, A is 1, B is -9, and C is +20.
Good.
And then you basically then you multiply A and C, which is 1 and 20, and it's going to equal 20. Then you do the list, which is 1 and 20, 2 and 10, and 4 and 5.
Good job.
Yeah, this I give up at this point.
Don't give up.
Oh, since C is positive and B is negative,
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing is going to be positive and negative.
Well, positive times a negative is going to get you a what?
Positive times a negative is negative.
A negative. And C has got to be what?
Oh, sorry. Repeat that.
So remember, C is always the multiplication one, and B is always the one that's addition or subtraction.
Mm-hmm.
So if I multiply a positive times a negative, I'm going to get a negative, but C is positive. So I know that's not right. What else could it be? A positive times a positive, correct?
Yeah.
Or
Negative
negative times a negative, right?
Yeah.
Both of those, when multiplied, will give me a positive. How do you know which one to choose?
Well, I don't know.
B is what?
B is a negative.
So if you have two positive numbers, are you ever going to get a negative number?
No.
So which one do you need to choose?
Negative and negative.
There you go. Go ahead.
It's gonna be, the first one's gonna be negative 21, and then negative 12, and then negative 9.
Which one works?
The last one.
What's your answer?
X negative 4 and X negative 5.
There you go. Awesome.
I'm
So
dumb. Yay, I'm dumb.
you are. The only thing you have to do is memorize, and this is just straight memorization. You have to memorize this little graphic organizer, because it's going to help you with that problem. If C is positive, what do I do? If C is negative, what do I do? If B is positive, what do I do? If B is negative, what do I do? And that becomes your graphic organizer. This is C, this is B. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And remember, this is the bigger number, and this is the bigger number. Cool, cool, cool. Cool beans. That's a great job. I love what you did right there. So here we go. Let's move on to Giovanni.
Hello.
What's going on, my man?
Nothing much.
Nothing much. Yeah, bored in the house, bored in the house. Here we go.
In the house board.
Take one.
I don't know. 16, I guess.
Okay. 2 and negative 15. So we got x squared plus 2x minus 15. Make it happen.
So the first thing you do is you multiply A times C.
That's the first thing you do?
Well, you label,
Okay.
and the x squared is 1,
Nope.
2x. Huh?
Say it right.
A equals 1,
Good.
B equals 2,
Good.
C equals negative 15.
Good. Go ahead.
Okay, so that will equal 15.
Good.
You got to do the factor tree. So 1 times 15.
And you're right, but I'm gonna say that you're wrong in this sense. Factor tree versus a factor list are two different things. Because a factor tree, you'll never use one. A factor list, you can use one. Okay.
My bad.
You're good.
1 times 15.
Okay.
3 times 5.
All done?
Yes, sir.
Good.
What's next? You okay. First of all, C is a negative, C is negative, and B is positive. So that means you would have to subtract
Mm-hmm.
all of them.
How?
Negative 1 minus 15.
So you want a negative negative?
Yes.
So think about this. A negative times a negative is going to get me a positive. But C is what?
Negative.
Negative. So I know I have to have what kind of signs?
Positive.
A positive times a positive is a positive.
Yes.
But C is negative. So how do I get two numbers to multiply together and give me a negative?
Positive times negative.
There you go. So which one is it going to be? Is 1 going to be negative or is 15 going to be negative?
1.
Okay. So therefore 15 is
It's
positive.
positive.
Why? How do you know that and be sure of that?
I don't know.
Because B is what?
Positive.
So the bigger number needs to be what?
Positive.
There you go.
Got it. So -1 plus 15 equals 14. And -3 plus 5 equals 2.
Good.
So now you need to put your parentheses. And
Which one works?
what happened?
Which one works?
Oh, -3 plus 5.
Circle it. That way you'll
So-
not get confused.
Now you put your parentheses and x minus 3 and x plus 5.
Great job. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, this in this factoring part, this factor tree makes your life easy. You don't memorize this factor tree, you got to start guessing. And then you got to know, oh, what's the rules? Why I got to do this? What's going to happen here? Because there's a combination. It always starts with C. Is C positive or negative? And then I can determine what's going to happen by the B. Okay.
Got it.
All right. So that's it. That's pretty much it. That's a pretty good job. I think all 4 participants, 3 participants did a great job. So anybody have any questions on 15.2 factoring? And this is when A is equal to what?
1.
1. That works when A is equal to 1. If A is greater than 1, we got to do a couple more steps. But either way, does anybody have any questions on this?
No.
Good. All right, so let's go to 16.3. Now, 16.3 is going to be A is bigger than 1, so we'll get to see it right here, right now. And we have to make sure that we understand it. Now, believe it or not, let's do this. I didn't do this yesterday. So let me 3x squared minus 4x equals 6x. Now, they just started you here, but the real issue is get it into a trinomial, set it equal to 0, and then go from there. So how do I do that? I need to do that. So I'm going to minus the 6x here, plus it there. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So I get 3x squared minus 10x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, this is my starting point. I had to manipulate this equation to get to my starting point, okay? Now, I used to have a graphic organizer for this because A is greater than 1. So here, from here, I would get it factored, right? I want to find the factor list. Once I know which factor list I'm going to use, I have to do a rewrite. Right? Rewrite the problem. When I rewrite the problem, I'm allowed to group it. So when I group it, I can split it into 2 different problems. And then I would factor this problem, factor this problem, and I would add those things together. And when I add those things back together, I would factor this problem. And for that problem, it would give me my answer. So I used to write up a graphic organizer, and I can see if I can find it or just make one. This would be the process for when A is greater than 1. You get a trinomial, so you have this, you factor it, find that factor list, and then you have to do this rewrite. This rewrite is the same exact equation, but instead of having a trinomial, you're going to have 4 terms. And from those 4 terms, I can split it 2 terms over here, 2 terms over here. And then when I factor those, I bring it back together, and I'll have 2 terms here. And then because I factor that, I can get my answer. So let's see that in action, okay? And watch. So same exact problem. I have 3x squared minus 10x plus 3 equals 0. Now, let's do our factor list. How do I do our factor list? A is equal to what?
3,
B is equal to what?
10,
Negative.
10.
negative,
Equal to what?
3.
3. So I do A, absolute value of A times absolute value of C. That's 3 and 3. So that gives me 9. So I have 1 and 9, 3 and 3. That's it. Now, C is positive, but B is what? Negative.
Negative.
Therefore, I know I'm going to get what? Negative, negative. So minus, 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 minus. Here's negative 10. Here's negative 6. So that one is the one that I get to pick. Now, remember what I said. I have to do a rewrite. So here's my rewrite because I've already found my factors. How do I rewrite it? Remember, this has 3 terms, right? I'm going to write it with 4 terms. And how do I do that? I'm literally going to split this 10. So I write 3x squared. I'm going to put the 3 on there. Plus 3. Now, how do I split the 10? Well, you found me the factors right here.
-1 and -1.
Negative 1x, negative 9x. So that is the same thing as saying this negative 10x. So I went from 3 terms to 4 terms. That allows me to do the grouping. So I hit the plus right there. Okay? Remember, you need this plus. This is not an option because we're not multiplying these things together. We're just splitting them. So we're going to add them. And what did I say? Now we do them separate. So if I want to factor 3x squared minus x, remember how we do a factor with just that? Parentheses, draw your parentheses, put your GCF outside. Here's a 3, here's a -1. So there's nothing to pull out with the numbers. But here's an x squared and here's an x to the first. I can pull out at least 1x. So what do I do with my GCF? I divide each term by it. So 3 divided by 1 is 3. X squared divided by x is x. Negative x or -1 divided by 1 is still a -1. And x divided by x is 1. So we're good there. Now I do the same thing over here. Negative 9x plus 3. Use my parentheses, draw my blank. Now I have a -9 and a 3. I know that 3 can be pulled out. But notice, and I told you to do this, if I do -9 divided by 3, I get a -3. Well, this is not -3. If I bring out a -3, now a -9 divided by a -3, I'll get a +3. Now they match. So I know that this -3 is one of them. A GCF. So x is here. There's no x here, so I can't pull out an x. So I know my GCF is -3. So what do I do with that? Divide by -3 on each term. So -9, -3 is 3. X comes down. +3 divided by a -3 is -1. This matches with this, and that must happen. If it doesn't happen, you did something wrong. Never forget, bring down that plus sign. So I can rewrite these now together. X, 3x minus 1 plus -3 times 3x minus 1. Immediately you see in these two terms, what's the same? 3x minus 1. So I can factor it again.
Factor it again.
So my GCF is 3x minus 1. Put my parentheses. So what do I do with that? Divide it by my GCF.
I do. GTF.
Funny, huh? So 3x minus 1 divided by 3x minus 1, I divide, and I get 1. What's left? X. What's left? Negative 3. Even if you bring down the plus sign, it's still going to be the same. Positive times a negative is still negative. So I get 3x minus 1, x minus 3. This is my answer in factored form. Now, if I look at this, they look pretty much the same, right? I got my factor list. The biggest step when A is greater than 1 is that rewrite. So when I rewrite it, I can group it, split it, and bring it back. And now I can factor it and go from there. The thing about here, they told me to solve, right? So solve means I can get an answer. Well, I can, because over here, it was equal to what?
0.
0. So that means that this is equal to 0. So 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. X minus 3 is also equal to 0. That's called the zero product rule. Anything multiplied to 0, this says, here's 1, here's 2. If this section was 0, 0 times, and let's just say it was 4, I would get 0. Let's say that this other section was the 4. So 4 times 0 is still equal to 0. So if I turn one of these parentheses into 0, then I know that they will equal out. All right? So now, 3x minus 1 is equal to 0. I would add 1, add 1. 3x is equal to 1. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals 1/3. Plus 3 plus 3. X equals 3. How many answers did you get? 2. So I got x is equal to 1/3 and x is equal to 3. No, I cannot write them as a coordinate pair together because these are the x.
Like values, you're supposed to have the y intercept and you don't have it y 0. So you know the thing, right?
So I get 1/3, comma 0, 3, comma 0. This is how I would graph it. All right. There you go. That's all of that. It seems real long, but it's not. It's just an extra step. I went through explaining it. So all you need to do is follow the pattern. If you follow the pattern, in math, I try to teach it in patterns and make sure that it's visual. Because if you know the pattern, then you're good to go. Okay? So here we go. Let's see who's on here.
Fire types. Fire
Henry's up. Let's go. Henry. Henry,
Yeah.
you ready to get it? All right. I'm not going to sit there and leave you totally alone. Me and you are going to work this out.
All right.
Pick one.
Let's do 5.
All right. So we do 5. Remember the numbers. Oh, it's already set equal to 0. So your life is easy. You got a 4, a 16, and a negative 48. 4, 16, negative 48. 4, 16, negative 48. 4, 16, negative 48. 4, 16, negative 48. And that is equal to 0. All right. Let's make it happen.
A
Good. A
is equal to 4.
Mm-hmm.
Positive 4. B is equal to 16.
Good.
And then C is equal to negative 48.
Good. Now what do I do?
List, I think. Oh no.
List until you do what?
I don't know what's that called. A times C.
This A times C.
Yeah.
So 4 times
negative 48.
That's down. That's what you're saying. Those bars say absolute value. So what's the absolute value of negative 48?
40.
48. Just makes it positive. That's all that does. So here we go. What's 4 times 48? What's 8 times 4?
8 times 4.
Yep.
32.
Good. What's 4 times 4?
16.
Plus 3?
18. No, 19.
So I get 192. You picked the doozy, but let's make it happen. Here we go.
19, 21,
2 and
96, 3,
3.
54.
4. 16, 32. 4 goes. So 40 what?
8.
Good. 5 doesn't. 6. 6 goes.
32. 7.
7.
Oh no.
Let's see. 7 would be 14. 52. We're coming out. Does 8 go in?
Yes.
You got to know it. Does 8 go in?
I think no.
So 8 times 2 is what?
8 times 2.
16. So 19 minus 16 is 3. Does 8 go into 32?
Yeah. 24.
9? Nope. 10? Nope. 11?
Yeah.
No.
No.
12?
192, 12. Yeah.
13?
No.
14?
No.
You only got one more to go.
Wait. 14.
14 doesn't go. Does 15 go? It's a 5, so you already know what
Yeah.
got to end, right? And then you're back to 16, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So now,
16.
here we go. Let's make this happen. C is negative. B is positive. So what do we know?
So we're good. We got to try to get a positive.
Positive would get me, when multiplied, a positive
Maybe
number.
negative.
But I need a negative. So I know that the signs have to be opposite, right? So it's either gonna be negative, positive, or
Negative, positive.
positive, negative.
Negative.
Now, B is positive. So the bigger number better be what? The bigger
Positive,
number
negative.
needs to be what?
Positive.
Therefore, this one's the one we're going to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Plus, 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 plus. Negative, 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 negative. What was that? The 4?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's do them. 192 minus 1.
191.
96 minus 2.
94.
64 minus 3.
61.
48 minus 4.
44.
32 minus 6.
26.
24 minus 8.
So, 16.
16 minus 12.
15.
4, right?
4. Yeah.
Which one works?
Negative 8 plus 24.
There you go. What do we have to do now?
We have to rewrite.
Rewrite. So can we rewrite this equation?
No.
Yes. That's why I said rewrite. So we're
Yeah.
gonna rewrite it. So just start off with 4x squared.
4x squared.
Instead of writing 16, what are we going to write?
Negative 8 plus 24.
Negative 8 what?
X
Good.
plus 24.
24 what?
X.
Good. Because negative 8x plus 24x is equal to?
16.
Good.
X.
And then what?
Positive 16x. And then negative 48
Good.
equals 0.
Equals 0. Now, what do I do from here?
Do you add? Oh no, grouping.
Group them. Good. Group them. And you just group pairs, right? Make sure you keep the what?
Positive.
Yep, that plus sign, all right? Now what do we do?
You gotta wait, I lost my notes. Factor.
Good. We're going to factor these. So 4x squared minus 8x. Put them in parentheses. Draw our empty parentheses. What's our GCF of 4 and negative 8?
GCF of 4 and negative 8.
Always check the numbers. Does 8 go into 4 evenly?
Yeah.
8's bigger than 4, so it's got to be a decimal, so it doesn't go in evenly. Does 4 go into 8, though?
Yeah.
Yes, so I know 4 is a part of it. How many x's do you have here?
2.
How many x's do you have here?
2. Oh no, 1.
1. So I know I can at least pull out 1x, correct?
Yeah.
So my GCF is 4x, so I divide each term by 4.
4x.
Correct. 4 divided by 4 is what?
1.
X squared divided by x.
X squared divided by x. 2.
Yeah, it's no. 2 minus 1 would just be 1, correct?
Oh, you're 1. Yeah.
To the first power. Negative 8 divided by 4.
4.
What kind of 4?
Negative 4.
It'd be negative 2 because we're doing division.
Negative 2.
We're not subtracting. Negative 2. X divided by x is what?
1. X.
1. It's 1. Right? So now I do this one. 24x minus 48. Put it in parentheses. Put your blank parentheses. Get your GCF. What's your GCF? What's 24? What's the biggest number that goes into 24 and 48? Look at the numbers. Does 24 go into 48?
Yeah.
There you go. So 24 can come out. There's an X here, but no X there. Can you pull out an X?
Yeah. I don't know.
There's only an X in this term. There's no X over here.
No, it's not.
Pull them out, right? So my GCF is 24. So I divide by 24, divide by 24. What's 24 divided by 24?
1.
And there's just an X left over, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Negative 48 divided by 24.
Negative 48 divided by 24. 224.
There you go. Now, if you notice, and this is what I'm trying to get y'all to notice, if I already have this done, I better have whatever's in this parentheses in this parentheses.
That's parentheses.
Okay? Don't forget to bring down your what?
Plus sign.
Plus sign. So now we rewrite these. It's not a rewrite. I'm just going to group them together now. So I have 4x, x minus 2, plus, 24 times x minus 2. What do you notice in both of the terms? What's in both of those terms?
2, -2.
No, x minus 2, correct?
X minus 2, yeah.
So I make my parentheses. So what's my GCF?
2.
X minus 2, the whole thing.
X minus 2, yeah.
Okay. And if that's my GCF, I can divide each of these by
X minus 2.
x minus 2. So that does what to them?
Cross out.
Cancel them. What's left?
4x
And
plus 24.
plus 24. So your answer is x minus 2, 4x plus 24. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now remember when you started, you had it equal to 0, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if I want to solve for x, what can I do?
Put in the x. Oh. Multiply 0.
And 4x plus 24 is equal to what?
0. Put them
Good.
both on 0.
So how do I solve for x in this left one?
Divide.
Go through your 4 steps. Simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do?
No.
Remove any addition or subtraction near your variable. Anything to do?
Yes.
What do you do?
Subtract. Put a plus.
So I get x is equal to what?
2. Positive 2. Positive 2.
Good. So now 4 steps on this one. Simplify / combine like terms. Anything to do?
No.
Good. Step 2, remove addition, subtraction. Anything to do?
Yes, the addition. Now turn it to
What am I gonna
subtraction.
do? Subtract.
Yeah, so
Subtract 24, subtract 24. I get 4x equals negative 24.
24.
Step 3, what do we do?
Divide. Yeah. The 4.
Good. So x is equal to what?
2.
Negative 6. Correct? So you get 2 answers. X is equal to 2. X is equal to negative 6. If I want to write the x-intercept, where I would graph it, what would be this one?
X equals
X equals what?
2.
What's y equal to?
0.
Good. What about this one?
Negative 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Negative 6.
0.
Comma.
Over 0.
There you go. You did all of it. It's a great job. Great job. All right. Does everybody understand that? Let me open this up. Because those are a little bit longer and I understand that. But if you just keep working through it, you'll be good. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the more practice you get, the faster you can go. Okay. So any questions for me?
No.
All good?
Yes, sir.
All right, make sure you get your work done for Friday. I will see you. Today's Thursday, so I'm signing out. This is Roscoe Pico Train. Y'all feel good. Lots of hair grease and
Roscoe.
Sheen. And we will talk to y'all next time, unless anybody has any questions.
Are so
Anybody got any questions? We're good?
Yeah.
We're good.
All right. Catch you later.
Have a great weekend.
You
Don't
too.
catch Rona.
No, I'll try not to.
Bye, Moonshine.
Bye.
Moonshine. Kill
Yeah,
shit.
bye, Moonshine.
What happened?
Her birthday.
Oh, her birthday next week? Double the homework. So now,
This ain't doing nothing. That's what you talking about.
we got this. So on the 30th, We got 15.2 and 16.3. That's exactly what we did yesterday. So we got another day. Today is the day. I'm sitting back because I want to see if y'all know how to do it. And for the most part, I know you struggled yesterday, but today should be a better day when it comes to the same exact problem, okay?
Wait, so you gonna make us write on it?
You want to do that? I mean, I can do that, sit back, but you got to have no, I'm not going to do that because you would need to have a screen that you could write on. Because if you try to do it with your mouse, it's just going to look ugly and it's going to take forever. And I ain't got
Using my
time.
phone.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So, got that. What else is new? Nothing else is new. So it's time to get moving.
We got to do 15.2, 15.2, and the quiz.
Yep.
All right.
So today
How
I'm
did-
focused on 15.2.
Factoring.
Factoring. All right. So y'all been good. Oh, let me tell you this. I gotta bring you back. I'm gonna stop share screen. Stop sharing.
Hey, Deandra.
What?
All right, turn your videos on.
Why do you want to turn our videos on, bro? I
Turn
look
your
like
video- It's only for a little bit. Turn your video.
okay.
How I do that?
It says stop.
Oh, that's
video.
ugly.
Ew, gross. My
Yeah,
face.
look at y'all all beat up. I need to see your face.
Bro, I look terrible. Oh my god.
Deandra.
Carlos.
Carlos. Yeah,
Hi, Carlos.
Hold on,
Oh my
Deandra,
God,
your
stop it.
period 1. Carlos, your period what? Your period 2? Good. Aaliyah, I didn't say I'm going to see your ceiling. Pop your head up real quick.
No.
Henry
Frankie.
is my best friend, dog.
Giovanni, your period 1, right?
Yes, sir.
Alex, show your face.
Henry, what period are you?
Period 3, I think.
Period
I think.
3. Roki. Where's he at?
Mr. Harris, where's your face?
It broke.
That's tough.
So Alexander Roke. What period are you? Roke, what period are you?
Yeah, I don't care. I'm texting.
Let me get everybody. Jonathan Hazan, what
Bro,
period
that
are you?
headset lit, Carlos. Look at mine.
Damn, bro.
I have no clue what just happened.
Can I borrow your stapler?
No.
Why would you even entertain that question?
All right, y'all can go back to normal.
No.
Yo, Giovanni, is Hazan in your period? No, your period 1. Aaliyah, is Jonathan Hazan in your period? Period 2?
The boy that's sitting next to me, the one I told you to move.
That's you. That's you. Okay. Cool. All right. So we got that. Who else is in here? Leah, Alexander. Alexander, you did not tell me what period you're in. Type it. Go to the chat and type it. If you can't sit there and type it in the chat. But I need to know what period you're in. What I'm gonna do is give y'all extra credit. So every time you jump on Zoom, I'm gonna give you extra credit
Oh, yes.
for every single one. Okay?
I'm failing all of my classes, so I do need that.
All right. So here we go. Let's make this happen. Go back to my share screen. There we go. Let's mute you